The definition of corporate internal controls is interesting, both for what it includes and what it leaves out. In my training and webinar programs, I share a brief definition of quote-unquote financial controls that I found at businessdictionary.com. It refers to, quote, management control of financial activities, and that, quote, managers use these tools to exercise financial control. From a corporate governance viewpoint, you see a lot of problems right there. Management and managers are both referred to as users, but value to the board and its audit committee gets zero mention. This means that the financial oversight tools your board depends on to do its job are of, by, and for the management team and their needs. A less noticeable issue with internal controls is how the concept is both too narrow and too vague at the same time. The controls limit themselves to accounting and audit numbers and ratios and are limited usually to the use of the audit committee. This tells us these controls are in place to meet some very narrow accounting needs, plus some newer disclosure and financial checks required by the various committees. This means financial tick box review to meet tick box needs, but it isn't giving boards the depth, insight, or user friendliness that they really should have. Here's a bigger point. Who says internal controls for the board should be limited to the balance sheet stuff anyway? Yes, financials are easier to qualify and to flag for outliers, but what about the many other items the modern board of directors has to monitor today? Things like risk, disclosures, HR, legal dangers, strategy, succession planning, tech, now matters like climate change and sustainability. We hear the phrase, "where was the board?" after every corporate scandal, but too often the answer is that the board was looking at the wrong data at the wrong time and in the wrong way. So maybe it's time to give the idea of quote-unquote internal controls a big 21st century overhaul to make the control environment more board-friendly and insightful. Suppose your board and management devoted a serious retreat to defining the specific indicators and their medians they require to effectively monitor all of the items we discussed above. Then, mine all of the data and information today's corporate ERP systems churn out on these items. Hone it into an immediate, maybe even real-time dashboard indicators for the board. Simplify the interface for this, and then simplify it a little bit more. Build comprehensive, fast, internal control reports your board can use. Your board shouldn't need to worry about asking the right questions, because all of the right answers they need should already be coming to them. I'm Ralph Ward, from the Boardroom for November.